Now, guys, I just want to show you the the tires and the tubes I'm gonna use for these wheels for my Yoeleos. I said it while making the first review of the wheels. I'm gonna use some Vittorias. I want. These are the Continentals 5000. The Vittorias are not for this bike. The Vittorias are for my other single speed bike. I'm not using them. They also arrived, but these are the 28s. I'm using these for the Yoeleo wheels, which go to a Chinelli bike, and I just wanted to have a quick review of these products. Now, these are the Tubolitos. Some of you guys know these tubes. These are really nice tubes. They are expensive, although they say here made in Austria. I've seen them made somewhere else before. Whatever. Um, these are expensive, but they are getting cheaper by well, I was gonna say by the day. It's not by the day, but it's good enough. These were these tubes previously were around 40 bucks or so, or 30. You can find them for, I don't know, maybe 25 or 20 bucks. And these are really, they have two or three advantages. They are lightweight, first of all. They are a bit more resistant to puncture. They are not puncture proof. I'm always pinching them and having them lose air somehow. And these are not puncture proof, but these are good enough. Now, a lot of people say that when you puncture some of these, you'll lose the tube because you cannot patch them. Even if you use the Tubolitos tube patch kit they sell you. The patch kit it has 6 patches. It costs a lot, and I guess it doesn't work that well. Otherwise, people wouldn't be complaining about it. So, why? Because the patch just debonds itself, and you lose tire pressure. So, what I've done is I've spent around 300 bucks already, or something like that, on these tubes, on different tubes. I'm guessing these are two, but I've spent. I'm a regular consumer of these tubes, these kind of tubes, because they, if you see here, when you're trying to lower your bike weight, your bike's weight, one of the places you'll most notice the weight is on the wheels. And the cheapest way to lower it is by using, firstly, different tubes or lighter tubes, and then lighter tires. What happens is that a light tire is really expensive, and it has a shelf life depending on how many kilometers you do using the same tires. Let's say 5,000 kilometers. Well, if you do that in 2 years, I guess it's an investment for 2 years. But if you do that every 3 months, well, your technique for lowering weight is not that that genius, is it? Now, depending on the how many kilometers you do every year on your bike, lightweight tires can be an investment. Otherwise, you'll better off sticking with lighter inner tubes or maybe tubeless and lightweight wheels. And that you pay once and you get it. Now, regarding inner tubes, it's more or less it's a gray area. Why? Because they actually they actually get used because of fretting, and depending on the number of punctures you do, that's a point where there's a point when you'll render it unusable. But I find it lasts a long time. Now, in all of the inner tubes I bought, some of them, and I bought the other ones which are lighter. These are 39 grams an ounce. Let's just check it. Well, it's 40 grams, whatever. Um, I'm guessing it's without the cap. Yeah, they don't. Yeah, they didn't count the cap for the weight of the inner tube. Or maybe it's this one. Let's see if this one. Maybe this one is 40 and this one is actually 39. Maybe they are not lying. Let's just confirm that if they are lying or not, because we don't want to be lied to. Let's see. They are not lying, because this one they told us is 39, and it actually is 39. So they are not lying. But then again, yeah, they are, but they should be both. I thought they wrote on this case 40. These are similar cases, so that's weird. I'm joking, of course. This is 39, 40, 41, 38, whatever. It's the same thing. Now it's 37. Who cares? Now, what I found is that I always have some old inner tube, so I can cut it and glue part of the old tube to the new inner tube, and I used Loctite uh, Loctite glue for specific plastic Loctite glue, and I use a really good stretch of old inner tube in order for me to cover. Let's say your puncture is right there. I'll cut the inner tube, let's say right there, and then I cut it on the belly side of it, and I'll just put it around the newer tube with the tube with the puncture, and I just put some glue, just a little bit, and I inflate this the tube, not a lot, just enough so it gets round. Now the Loctite glue needs a bit of time to actually cure and get and don't lose any air. So what I do is I just put it real quick with some air and a bit of glue. Then I put the whole thing on the tire, and the tire, or inside the tire, and the tire on the rim. And then with everything really carefully put together, I inflate the tire to the max pressure I can, let's say 80 or 90 psi. And what it does is it it cramps together the inner tube and the glue and the old tube I'm using as a patch. And I found it works like a charm. So it works really good. You don't need to scrape it or do anything. You just put some glue, specific plastic glue, because this is plastic, and you put everything together, you inflate it, and you're good to go. Now, I wouldn't advise for you to go and start using your ride your bike while the glue is on the curing process. Why? Because you'll have some movement, a bit of movement on the glue side of things, and the glue really needs to be still and for, let's say, 12 hours or so. So you do it on before you go to bed, you leave it there, maybe the next day you're good to go. Now, these are and I was saying I bought the other version, which is lighter, but I found it loses a lot of air pressure. And these are the regular, let's say regular models. They don't lose any air. I mean, after a week or so, or 2 weeks, they lose 10 or 20 psi. That's not a lot. That's usual for a relatively lightweight inner tube. So these work. The others, the lightweight version, which they claim it's lighter, and it's only for disc. It's the disc version. This is the rim version. But although this bike will work on discs, will brake with discs, uh, these are the tubes to go, unless you want to be inflating your tires every single day you ride the bike. Actually, if you start to use your bike, ride your bike on the morning, halfway through the day you'll feel the air pressure loss on the tires. They are that quick losing pressure. So these are the way to go. And let's go to the actual tires. Why Continentals 5000? Because they were on sale. That's all. These are 10 side, 10 walls. These are the nice version. Very nice. And these are 28s. Now, why 28? Because you get to a point where if you're not competing, you don't need really skinny tires or really fat tires. You want something that is balanced, that is reliable, and that is also lightweight. These are still lightweight tires. One thing I've noticed is that from and up to this moment, I've only used Continentals. Now, I cannot speak for other makers, but regarding Continentals, the GP 5000 is there, and then you have submodels, but these are the top of the line of Continental. Now, what happens is that for the extra pounds or euros you spend on these tires, you really get a really good quality tire. These really are high quality tires because I've fallen on on the model below this. They were I can't remember. They were I don't know. It's the cheaper version of this tire. I can't remember. If you ask me, I'll search it. Instead of 50 euros or so, they cost around 20 or 25. And I've fallen because I was using the other version, the cheaper version, and they do not stick so well to the pavement. And I went to the ground because of that. Then I switched the tires and for 5000s, and everything was great and nice. So there's no need to go to the hospital because of, let's say, if you don't want to brake or ride slower, there's no need to go to the hospital because of 50 bucks. There's no need at all. Let's just weight them, take this paper out. I don't know why these guys have instructions. This is a tire. Why does it need instructions? I don't know. If you know, please help me understand that. Now, these are 245 real weight. You have this nylon thing, but I'm guessing that's 1 gram tops. These are not the lightest tires, but these are light enough. These are 28s. These are not competition tires because you have a competition version of this, which are, I think, 20 grams lighter. And you can search it on the website. But they are double the price. I don't find that really something you really need. And besides that, these are really good tires. And you want something. Oh, this tire is size 36, like a shoe. And you want tires to be good, reliable, puncture resistant, low hysteresis, with low hysteresis, which people call rolling resistant. In engineering terms, is hysteresis. There's no such thing as rolling resistance. See, rolling resistance is hysteresis on the tire and some other factors, let's say temperature, or which implies different hysteresis. But let's say speed, let's say angle. Okay, so rolling resistance is a lot of things together. I'm no tire expert, but one of the things they control for one tire, and yeah, sure, rolling resistance is also friction coefficient. If you have a really high coefficient of friction and really low hysteresis, let's say you have the same rolling resistance as the opposite. So rolling resistance is the end result of several other things that come before. Now, there are some things they can control for one tire. They can control deformation or elasticity, which converts to hysteresis, and they can control for uh, coefficient of friction of the rubber. They can also control for vulcanization, which means how fast, which translates to how fast the rubber decomposes on the surface. And with more sulfur, you have a more resistant rubber to 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 debond on the surface. That means that uh, you have to put some other ingredients to maintain a high coefficient of friction without losing a lot of rubber on the surface. So they can control for that, but they cannot control for the surface, the surface you're riding on. They cannot control for the speed you're riding at, your weight, your the performance, or how much angle you give it on a bend. They cannot control for that. They can estimate for that, but they cannot control for that. Now, these are really good tires, and for the price you pay, these are really well balanced. Now, if you want to compete, sure, you want lighter tires, and you want tires that only last, ideally only last as much as the stage you're competing at. So let's say your stage is 300 kilometers. You only want your tires to last 300 kilometers, or maybe 400, but not much more than that. You only need your drivetrain to last for that specific stage. You can have aluminium cassettes for competition. It makes sense. You can have really thin layers of rubber on your tires if you're competing at a certain stage. But if you want your bike to be fun and reliable and not last just 300 kilometers, maybe a bit more, you want to pay for something which is ideal for you. Sure, we all can have bikes that break after 1000 kilometers. These are the ideal bikes for competition. But although life is a competition, it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. And unless you're riding your bikes on a sprint competition, you want it to be reliable, puncture proof, somewhat lightweight, real aerodynamic. You want it to have a high coefficient of friction, low hysteresis, and be really nice looking, because I cannot imagine a tire that looks better than these ones. Now let's weight it again. This is the other tire. 245 against 245, 251. I'm sorry, 247 against 251. It's really nice. It's really all you need, because if you weigh everything together, let's say you have your two tires and then your inner tubes, you have a system. I don't know if you can see it, but this whole system weighs at 573 72 now grams, maybe 570, because I'm missing these nylon strips, taking them out. So this is a 570-gram system that is reliable, clean, and puncture proof, really high performance. And I don't know, they costed everything together maybe 150 euros, maybe not more than that, depending on if you buy it on sale or not, but no more than 150. So bit that. Yeah, well, guys, that's all. See you on the next one.